Don't you really feel yourself birthing the most fantastic parts of your life during greater contrast? And we're not encouraging you to get out there and spread the gap in your contrast. We really are not. We're just wanting to point out to you that in your human form, the contrast is greater, which means you are the leading edge of creation. And we stand in far less contrast. In fact, the contrast where we are would be indiscernible to you. We stand in far less contrast. That way we can easily turn our undivided attention to the new ideas that you give birth to. Do you feel how important your perspective is to the whole of all of this? And do you understand that even if you, in your physical form, explore contrast and give birth, and explore contrast and give birth to new and better worlds, and future generations will certainly benefit by that which you are exploring now, because those coming forth will be born from the expanded version, not from the contrasted version. Do you know that you could hold yourself in contrast to all that you have become all of the days of your life, and they would call you the grumpiest, orneriest, sickest person that anybody ever knew if you did that? If you manage to do that, eventually you'll croak. Everybody does, by the way. Eventually you'll croak. We like that disrespectful word, since there is no death. You will leave this physical expression of life, and you will reemerge into pure positive energy, and in that moment you will close the gap. And you will feel no regret, because you will have then experienced the expansion that this life provided. So why do we bother to come forth and talk to you when it is absolute that you are source energy, when it's absolute that you meant to be here, when it's absolute that you meant to explore the contrast, when it's necessary that you know what you don't want in order to know what you do want, and it's absolute that you will have the expanding experience, because when you have your croaking experience, you will become that which this life caused you to become. That eternal expansion is assured. So why are we bothering to talk with you here and now? Because it turns out right in the end, there is no end, but you know what we mean. It always turns out right. So what's the point? Why are we talking to you? First, because you've asked. And next, because we think that you should be living the joy of your own life in the way that we are. You provide us with expansion, but you hold yourself apart from the joy of it, because you're so serious about life, because you're so determined to sift out the piles of right and wrong and make sure that you and everybody you know get in the good pile. How's that working out? We've noticed that as a mass consciousness, you can't even agree on which are the right piles. You kill each other in unbelievable numbers as you disagree over what the right pile is and what the wrong pile is. And we want you to understand that you came forth because you liked the piles, and you knew that the piles would give you an exposure to life that would help you to personally conclude. And you knew that you're not the creator of anyone else's life. You knew that you're the creator of your life, and you knew that your guidance would tell you what's right for you, but your guidance isn't telling you what's right for anyone else. So it is our desire that as we move forward here today, that you will come to the place that you will be able to wholeheartedly begin to leave the peanut gallery out of the decisions that you're making, that you will begin to make your decisions based upon how you feel. We want you to realize that this momentum that is caused by law of attraction's powerful response to the expanded version of you means that when you allow yourself to move in the direction of it, you feel the ease of all of that power and influence. And when you don't, you feel the dis-ease of it. Here's the easiest way for you to hear this. Before you came into this physical body, you were offering one powerful vibrational stream. And the reason we say powerful is because it was not contradicted. It was not pulling against itself. And so you were offering a vibration, and as law of attraction responds to that singular vibration, you feel the power of it. Things happen fast. Now, here's the thing, that once you get this, you'll understand everything that ever happens to you or anyone else. Once you understand this vibrational gap that you have control over, you have to practice a little bit before you really feel your control. But once you get a sense of this, it's going to be smooth sailing for you. The reason that you feel the negative emotion is because the larger part of you is focused upon a subject which is vibrating, that law of attraction is responding to. And as we appeal to your logic, if you understand that this non-physical part of you is the eternal part of you and has been focused and summoning by virtue of law of attraction for longer than you could even identify in terms of time. And here you are in this very brief physical body. Which do you think of those two vibrational points of attraction law of attraction is responding to in the most powerful way? Perhaps Esther's demonstration is giving it away. And we're wanting you to realize that this law of attraction that's responding to who you really are is creating what feels to you like a current that is moving toward all that you have become. In other words, if you've been sick in your body, the non-physical part of you is weller. If you don't have enough money, the non-physical part of you has much more prosperity. In other words, do you understand that before there is anything that you would term physical manifestation, that there is a thought vibration first? First there is thought. The more it is thought upon, the more it begins to take shape and form. And in that shape and form place, some can see it. You see visions, you see auras, you see energy. Many of you are beginning to be able to use your physical eyes to translate that kind of vibration, while most do not. But then beyond that, once it's thought upon longer by more, it takes shape and form in the way that you call physical manifestation. So when life causes you to know that you don't want something, which causes you to know that you do want something, a reality has been created. And we'll give it to you that it's a vibrational reality, but we will never say, because it's a vibrational reality, that it is less than the reality that you know is real life knock on wood reality, because everything that is real life knock on wood reality was once a vibrational reality. It is the beginning of all things. It is the most important part of all things. So as law of attraction is responding to what you have put again and again and again, morphing, evolving your vibrational escrow, as law of attraction responds to that powerful point of attraction, things begin to take shape and form. Things begin to move. People begin to get influenced. Law of attraction is responding and bringing about a reality, your evolved, expanded version of you. And if you're moving with it, you feel great. And if you're not, you do not. It creates what feels to you like a momentum equivalent to the movement of a raging river. And when you let yourself go with the river, it goes better than when you fight the current. It's that simple. So we want to say to you carefully and lovingly that you just got to go with who life has caused you to become. You cannot hold yourself back. Jerry and Esther went whitewater river rafting, and they all found that out. When they put their raft in the water, it was clear to them that the stream was going to take them. And not one of them even considered bucking the current and fighting it by trying to row upstream. They had paddles, but that river was stronger. In fact, their river guide said, folks, this isn't Disneyland. We cannot turn this river off. And we want to say exactly the same thing to you. This is a fast-moving river that was set into motion by you and that which is sourced before you even got here in this physical body. And since you've been here every day of your life, even before you could speak words, you've been synthesizing life, sifting through the data, and you have been giving birth to your point of view, preferences of what would be improvement for you. And Source understands so well that you, leading edge creator out here on the leading edge of thought, should know. Even if you are a one-celled organism, Source knows that you know what's better for you than anybody else. The scientists are trying to genetically engineer. They don't know. In other words, no one knows more clearly than the individual consciousness about its individual perspective. And as you are living in your individual perspective, you are surrounded always by contrast that causes you to expand. Now that's true of us too, you know. That's true of that which is source energy. That's true of that which is non-physical. There is contrast. There is that which is wanted and lack of it in every particle of the universe. But you know what's different with you than with us? You are in more contrast than we are because it was all of our plan. You said, I'll go forth where the contrast is greater because in greater contrast there becomes greater awareness and therefore greater expansion of what is wanted. You get that, don't you? The day you were born, that energy split. It's just the nature of being physically focused, because now you are giving your attention to things of physical nature. Even before you can speak the words, even before you have language, you are giving your attention to some degree. Your mother worried about you 9 months, and now you're here, she's really worried about you. There's a different vibration going along around you. So now your vibration split a bit. When you sleep, and you do as an infant a lot, your vibration becomes one again. When you wake up, you worry a little bit. The longer you live in this physical body, doesn't need to be, but seems to be often the case, the more you find things to fuss and worry about. And the more you chronically begin to hold yourself in a vibration that's different from that knowing, loving, worthy feeling, well-being vibration that is really who you are. So as you begin to get acclimated to a feeling that is far different from who you really are, occasionally you have moments of insight where you are thrilled about something. But how do you feel most of the day? Are you ornery or are you joyful? Are you buoyant or are you dragged down? Are you eager or are you depressed? In other words, you've got to pay attention to the way you feel, and in paying attention to the way you can feel eagerness is alignment, depression is not, anger is not, frustration is not, love is alignment. You see what we're getting at? So as you begin to get a handle on the way you feel, what you're really getting a handle on is the wholeness or the lack of it of who you are. We want to help you figure out how to keep up with you. We want you to keep up with who life has caused you to become. And do you know, every time you feel negative emotion, even if somebody else has done something that you deem terrible to you, every time you feel negative emotion, you're not keeping up with you. And if you can get that, I'm not letting myself be who I really am. That's what negative emotion means. So when you get that and you are determined to let yourself be who you really are, be the lover you are, the offerer of love to others, but the lover of self that you are, the appreciator of others, but the appreciator of self that you are, the worthy being that you are, you've been compared with so many others. Most of you have lost your place in this. You don't love yourself the way the larger part of you does, and you suffer horribly in that absence of self-love. And we've noticed that when you're not loving you, you have a hard time loving anybody, and when you're not loving anybody, you have a hard time loving you. Just find something to love and focus upon it, no matter what it is. Find something to love, give it your undivided attention until you've activated the vibration, until you can feel it within you. Good. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. Nothing is off limits. You'll notice a perfect unfolding. Let's together help you get back in sync with who you are. We don't mean to imply that you're dramatically out of sync, but you're not in sync. You don't love life the way you really do. You don't love yourself the way you really do. You don't have the money in your bank account that we've seen in your vibrational escrow. And your body doesn't feel as good as your vibrational body does. You are source energy in physical bodies, and it's time for you to return to that perspective. Don't worry, you won't look weird to others. You'll look happy. Those who see you, who don't know what's going on, will see you as clear-minded. They'll see you as resilient. They'll see you in contrast, but they'll never see anything get you down. They'll see you revel in contrast and feel eager to find solutions when problems arise. They'll feel your confidence no matter what's happening. And they'll feel and hear your uplifting words. They will begin to notice that you rarely, if ever, criticize or complain. That you are chronically appreciating. And many of them, especially those up close to you, will have to begin putting it together. You're living a good life because you feel good. You don't feel good because you're living a good life. Achieve the vibration and watch what happens. People say, oh, Abraham, if you just give that to me, I promise you I'll feel better. We say, we know you will. But you got to feel better, and then it comes. And many say it's not fair. That one was born into the situation that makes them feel better. And we say, really, we've never seen one like that. Oh, yeah. They were born in Malibu.